When there is a major problem, your body will give out signs. Understanding them can be the difference between tragedy and life. Today, we will discuss 7 bodily indicators that are always important to pay attention to. These are the warning signs that, according to medical professionals, call for prompt hospitalization. No hesitation, no waiting. This is for your protection, not to frighten you. Because they think it's nothing or because they don't want to bother anyone, many older individuals put off getting care for too long. Early intervention, however, frequently prevents a little issue from turning into a serious emergency. More significantly, being aware of what to look for helps you regain control over your health. This video will teach you the 7 body warning signs that you should never ignore, according to specialists. These are not nebulous symptoms, rather they are very real, extremely distinct, and frequently time-sensitive. One of these signals could save your life or the life of someone you care about, so stay with us through to the very end. Let's get going now. Sign 1. Drooping of the face or slurred speech. Doctors and nurses are trained to identify a particular set of symptoms immediately, and they indicate a medical emergency that cannot wait. Stroke. You should go to the hospital right away if you suddenly have trouble speaking. Notice that one side of your face isn't moving as the other side does, or find that your words are slurred or jumbled. This also holds true if you are unable to raise one arm or if it falls when you attempt to do so. These are indicators that your brain might be seriously ill, not that you should take it easy. Time isn't just money, it's memory, speech, movement, and life itself. According to a neurologist, every minute a stroke goes untreated, you lose nearly 2 million brain cells. This is a stark reality that most people are unaware of. Strokes in the elderly might occur suddenly. You might be going about your everyday business, reading the newspaper, watching TV, or eating lunch, when all of a sudden your grin becomes uneven or your words don't come out the way you plan. These small alterations are problematic because they may feel unsettling, but not frightening, because your chances of recovering from a stroke are higher the sooner you receive treatment. Consider Robert, a Vietnam veteran who is 68 years old. He dropped his coffee cup from his right hand one morning and was baffled as to why. His voice didn't sound right when he called out to his wife. After glancing at his face and noticing that his smile was crooked, she dialed 911. Within an hour, Robert was receiving treatment, and he recovered remarkably. He subsequently revealed, "I might be in a wheelchair," or worse, if she hadn't acted quickly. The medical community teaches individuals how to identify a stroke by using the acronym FAST, face, arms, speech, time. However, the final letter, T for time, is the one that most people overlook. Thus, every minute matters. If you notice slurred speech, facial asymmetry, or sudden weakness, don't wait for a doctor's visit or take a nap. Get assistance by contacting emergency services, because quick action could rescue your capacity to walk, talk, remember, and live on your own when your brain is malfunctioning. Sign 2. Abrupt pain or tightness in the chest. A sudden, unexpected pressure or pain in your chest is one of the most serious symptoms your body can offer. In addition to spreading to your arms, shoulders, neck, or jaw, it may feel tight, squeezing, or even burning. The truth is that this can be your heart pleading for assistance, even if some individuals try to tell themselves it's only anxiety or heartburn. This is particularly risky for elderly persons because heart attack symptoms might be gradual, mild, or entirely unexpected. There is a lot of truth to the statement made by a cardiologist once. The number of patients who arrive too late because they thought it was indigestion is heartbreaking. If there's even a chance it's cardiac, get checked. For example, many heart attacks in seniors don't cause the debilitating pain we see on television. It might occasionally be a dull discomfort, a fluttering sensation, or simply a feeling that something is off. Even in the absence of physical exertion, you can experience unexpected fatigue, lightheadedness, or dyspnea. These are things to take action on, not things to watch. Consider Helen, a retired school teacher who is 74 years old. She was reading a book one afternoon when she noticed an odd constriction in her chest. It persisted, although it wasn't painful. She claimed, "I thought maybe it was gas." But her daughter hurried over and demanded that they visit the hospital. "But something told me to call my daughter." Helen's heart attack had been modest. Fortunately, she received prompt medical attention and recovered completely. "If I had waited, I might not be here," she stated. "Now I listened to my body the first time." The lesson here is that your body generally murmurs rather than screams when it is in agony, and those murmurs may be the last warning sign for something as catastrophic as heart problems. Avoid waiting until you are unable to breathe or are on the ground. If you have a chronic, unfamiliar, or accompanying chest discomfort, you should go. Don't wait. Don't wonder. Just go. Please leave a number 2 comment below to let me know whether you're still viewing this video and finding these ideas helpful. To ensure you don't miss any videos, I advise you to subscribe and turn on the bell if you haven't already. We can keep producing high-quality content to educate and uplift you thanks to your support. All right, let's proceed. Sign 3, breathlessness without effort. Feeling out of breath when sitting motionless is not the same as collecting your breath after climbing steps. You shouldn't ignore it if you find yourself out of breath while reading on the couch, watching TV, or even just resting in bed. Without any significant physical activity, sudden dyspnea may indicate a serious illness such as pneumonia, heart failure, or even a pulmonary embolism, which is a blood clot in the lungs. All of these need immediate medical care. It's particularly true for older folks. A respiratory doctor once stated, "If breathing becomes difficult for no clear reason, that's your body raising an alarm. It's not just age or fatigue, it's a cry for help." Our heart has to work harder to pump blood that is rich in oxygen throughout our body as we age, and our lung capacity inevitably declines. However, its suddenness and severity are what distinguish a medical emergency from a normal aging symptom. Something is amiss if you wake up feeling as though you can't catch your breath, or if you're breathing heavily after just crossing the room. Your heart, lungs, or both may be affected, and delaying could result in increasing symptoms or permanent harm. Let's look at Walter, a retired electrician who is 76 years old. He had always been in good physical condition, but one night he felt as though he was having trouble breathing while watching his favorite show. No fever, no exercise, no chest pain, just this overwhelming feeling of being out of breath. After persuading him to visit the hospital, his daughter discovered a little blood clot in his lung. "If I had waited until morning," remarked Walter, "I might not have woken up." The lesson to be learned is that breathlessness is something that should be addressed immediately rather than monitored later, particularly when illness strikes out of nowhere, becomes worse fast, or makes even easy chores feel like a workout. Even if you're not immediately aware what's wrong, trust your body, it knows. Go directly to the emergency department if breathing becomes difficult for no apparent cause. Finding out it was nothing is preferable to learning too late that it was everything. Sign 4, odd perplexity or abrupt disorientation. It's tempting to attribute sudden confusion, forgetting common things, or appearing uncertain about where they are or what time it is to aging in seniors. However, one of the most dangerous warning signals is that type of mental fog that comes on suddenly, especially if it's out of character. It can indicate a severe pharmaceutical reaction, a brain infection, a stroke, or dangerously low oxygen levels. And each of those scenarios necessitates prompt medical care. Because many seniors and their families may not perceive bewilderment as an emergency, a hospitalist once said, "In older adults, the brain is often the first organ to signal trouble. Sudden confusion is the body's emergency light flashing. They may assume it's simply fatigue or a poor day. However, it's time to take it seriously when the shift occurs suddenly, such as when you forget names, become lost in familiar areas, or speak in ways that don't make sense. These are sudden shifts in memory that frequently indicate something far deeper than gradual changes. Consider Linda, an 80-year-old woman who ran her own affairs and lived on her own. Her neighbor saw her standing in their building's hallway one morning, not knowing how or why she had arrived. Despite being completely clothed, she appeared surprised and kept asking the same question. When her family took her to the hospital, they discovered that she had a urinary tract infection that had caused an abrupt onset of delirium. They initially believed it might have been exhaustion or dehydration. After receiving fluids and antibiotics, she recovered and resumed her regular activities in a matter of days. Her daughter remarked, "I didn't know confusion could come from something like that. Now I'll never ignore it." That's precisely what we want to happen. Seniors' delicate brains frequently react to other issues, such as infections, oxygen shortages, or even fluctuations in blood sugar, before anything else happens. Therefore, don't wait for perplexity to resolve itself when it arises suddenly. It may, but there may be lasting repercussions if it doesn't or if it becomes worse. Please leave a number 4 comment below to let me know if you're still watching this video and finding these ideas helpful. To ensure you don't miss any videos, I advise you to subscribe and turn on the bell if you haven't already. We can keep producing high-quality content to educate and uplift you thanks to your support. All right, let's proceed. Sign 5, abdominal pain that is severe or abrupt. Everybody gets aches and pains occasionally, especially as they age. However, it is not something to ignore or wait out if the pain is sudden, acute, or feels like it is getting worse every minute, especially in the abdominal area. A medical emergency like appendicitis, a perforated ulcer, pancreatitis, or even internal bleeding may be indicated by severe abdominal pain. Abdominal pain in older individuals may potentially indicate a ruptured organ or a blocked bowel, both of which can be fatal if left untreated. One trauma surgeon once said, "When a senior complains of sudden abdominal pain, we take it very seriously because time makes all the difference between a fixable problem and a fatal one." Given that seniors are more likely to experience complications and that the traditional symptoms of illness don't always manifest in the same way, you should remember that viewpoint. It's possible that you don't even have any obvious edema or fever. You may simply feel off, or you may suddenly double over in pain. In any case, you must listen to what your body is telling you. Allow me to introduce you to Frank, a 72-year-old widower who took great satisfaction in his rough exterior. He experienced a sharp discomfort in his lower abdomen one evening while he was finishing his dinner. He took several antacids and went to bed, assuming it was gas. He was too weak to stand by mourning due to the spread of the agony. The emergency room staff discovered a twisted portion of his intestine that had severed blood flow after his daughter called for an ambulance. His life was saved by emergency surgery. "I thought it would pass," Frank subsequently stated. "I didn't realize how fast things can go downhill." That is not an unusual story. Elderly people tend to minimize pain or wait for it to go away. It's time to go in, not to tough it out, if the pain is severe, chronic, or unlike anything you've ever experienced. Being cautious won't cost you anything, but waiting too long could cost you everything. Don't guess, don't Google. Go if you experience severe stomach pain that doesn't go away, especially if it's accompanied by nausea, vomiting, or dizziness. The 6th sign is blood in the vomit or persistent vomiting. Occasionally throwing up is unpleasant but normally goes away, possibly due to bad food or a stomach ailment. However, vomiting ceases to be a little annoyance and turns into a major health issue if it lasts for hours or if there is blood present. Severe dehydration, electrolyte imbalance, and even kidney problems can result from frequent vomiting. Furthermore, even a small amount of blood in your vomit could indicate something far more serious, such as stomach hemorrhage, an esophageal tear, or perforated ulcers. According to a gastrointestinal specialist, blood in vomit is never normal. It's one of the fastest ways we identify internal bleeding in older adults. This should put a halt to anyone who might be ignoring or misidentifying it. Either the blood will be bright red or it will be dark, gritty, and unexpected, like coffee grounds. In any case, it indicates that there is a problem with your digestive system. For elderly people, this may be a side effect of an unidentified illness, a reaction to drugs, such as anti-inflammatory drugs, or even damage to the stomach lining brought on by stress. Think about Evelyn, a 79-year-old woman with arthritis who has been using over-the-counter painkillers. She began throwing up after supper one evening. She initially blamed the shrimp, but her grandson insisted on calling for assistance after she noticed dark flecks in the sink, which she assumed were leftover food. Doctors at the hospital verified that she had a bleeding ulcer that had been subtly developing for several months. She confessed, "I had no idea it was that serious. But if I hadn't gone in, I might not have lasted another day." It is impossible to exaggerate this warning. Blood in the vomit does not wait for the morning. You can't use ginger ale to cure it or sleep it off. It indicates that there is a broken part of your body that is seeping into inappropriate areas. Only prompt medical attention can identify the cause and halt it in time, whether it's a ruptured blood vessel, liver issues, or stomach injury. Please leave a number 6 comment below to let me know if you're still watching this video and finding these ideas helpful. To ensure you don't miss any videos, I advise you to subscribe and turn on the bell if you haven't already. We can keep producing high-quality content to educate and uplift you thanks to your support. All right, let's proceed. Sign 7, severe fever, stiff neck, and light sensitivity. A fever is typically an indication that your body is fending off an illness. Meningitis, a potentially fatal inflammation of the protective layers around your brain and spinal cord, may be the cause of your high fever if it is accompanied by headaches, a stiff neck, disorientation, or difficulty with bright lights. Even though meningitis is more frequent in younger people, older persons can still get it, especially if they have compromised immune systems or other chronic illnesses. When it occurs, it can move too quickly to be ignored. For example, an emergency physician once remarked, if an older adult comes in with fever and can't bend their neck or handle the light, we drop everything. That's how urgent it is. Such urgency is significant because the infection may already be well along by the time these symptoms manifest. Your body is alerting you to inflammation in the lining surrounding your brain when you experience stiffness in your neck, which is more than just discomfort. Not only is the light sensitivity bothersome, but it's also an indication that something is wrong with your central nervous system. Some people also experience nausea, vomiting, or a pressure-induced sense that their head is about to blow up. Furthermore, this should never be written off as just a bug. Consider 75-year-old Jerry, a crossword puzzle enthusiast and widower. He had a throbbing headache one morning that prevented him from finishing his daily puzzle. By the afternoon, the light from his kitchen window was intolerable, and his neck ached so much that he was unable to look down. Fortunately, his retired nurse neighbor saw the warning signs and took him directly to the hospital. Doctors determined that Jerry had bacterial meningitis, but he lived because to prompt medical attention. He subsequently remarked, "I thought I was just run down. I had no idea it could be something so serious." That's the truth. You shouldn't overreact when your body gives you warning signs like a fever, stiff neck, or light sensitivity. These symptoms indicate that your nerve system is being attacked, and every hour matters when you have meningitis. There is treatment available, and early initiation is the most effective. So don't think twice. Don't wait for an appointment or attempt to ignore these symptoms if you or someone you care about exhibits them. Proceed to the emergency department and leave the situation to the pros. Waiting can be a risk you can't afford, but you won't regret taking precautions with your health. Concluding remarks, you've already seen how crucial it is to pay attention to the cues your body gives you, particularly as we age. These 7 indications are meant to empower you, not to fear you, because wisdom, not weakness, is the ability to know when to act. Furthermore, wisdom, particularly the kind gained from years of life, means realizing that your health demands attention, not postponement. It's simple to dismiss it, to say, "I'll be fine," or "It's probably nothing." However, in many of the tales we told today, people were only saved because someone decided to take action, because someone saw the warning sign, called, or drove to the facility. Those were the pivotal times. Additionally, keep in mind that caring for oneself is not only for you, it's for your loved ones, your friends, and those who depend on you for support. They get to appreciate your knowledge, your tales, and your affection every day you remain strong and secure. Therefore, treat your health as the priceless gift that it is. We appreciate you being here with us today. Please share one item you learned today and how you intend to apply it in your life in the comment section below. We would love to hear from you. We value your opinions, so please feel free to express them. We are greatly inspired and encouraged by reading your remarks. Please like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it entertaining and useful. We can keep producing high-quality content to educate and uplift you thanks to your support.